I decided to book an apartment hotel, and let me tell you, it's been interesting. I'm speaking here in Nashville at an event about Airbnb, so I decided why not? With the growing popularity of Airbnb as a business model, builders have been creating a new type of product that's a cross between a hotel and an apartment in what I think are some risky ways. And on top of that, between you and me, Airbnb's media hasn't been so good. This property might be a big mistake, but that's for another video. This video is about my experience with an Airbnb hotel. Let's jump in.
Welcome back, YouTube world. I'm a vlogger now, and this is a kitchen. Much like any other kitchen, this isn't what makes an apartment hotel so special. Sure, it's a little on the small side, but so are many apartments. It still has your full-size fridge, your microwave, your stove, everything else. Also a place for me to work on my YouTube videos. But an apartment hotel is smaller everywhere else. It's barely bigger than a hotel room. And sure, small is subjective. A lot would argue that this living room is the size of a standard New York apartment, but again, that is rather small. This is less than 400 square feet for the whole entire space, including the bedroom. But this, of course, is a strategic decision. People who stay in hotels stay for shorter periods of time and they have less stuff. They're going to bring some luggage, that's it. It does have a closet, which is nice, and I'd say this could be comfortable for a couple of weeks of stay, but beyond that, I think people living here, in my personal opinion, I think someone could stay here for a couple of weeks and not have a big problem, but to bring more stuff in and to try to settle in any longer than that, I think it just wouldn't feel like home. This could be a disadvantage for them in the future if things don't go so well, but we'll cover that closer to the end of this video. But first, for the sake of education for anyone interested in doing Airbnb, let's take a look at what's inside of this place. There's a lot that can be learned. At first glance, this place is fully furnished from corner to corner, and that's important upon arrival. The reason why this was easy to pull off, again, is because this place is so small. You can put a TV stand, a small couch, and a chair, and a rug, and all of a sudden the living room looks great. In the bedroom, you have some nightstands, a plant, a canopy bed, and a mirror. Place looks great. They've also done something else to the place to add a texture. They've added wallpaper. Both in the living room and in the bedroom, the wallpaper gives the whole room a busier feel. Now, they have decided to use more neutrals instead of loud colors, leaning on the texture to keep the home interesting. This is them trying to straddle the line on customer types. A visually interesting listing will get more clicks and stays. A listing with a louder, more brave personality type may get more bookings for short stays, but those loud-looking listings start to drive away longer stays. Now, this is an apartment hotel, which means that every unit in this building is an Airbnb property. Currently, this unit is on the 29th of roughly 35 floors. There's probably 10 or 12 units per floor. So there are ballpark 300 units or more in this property. Some of the units are bigger, some are smaller. This is actually a medium-sized one. They probably also have different design styles. Let's go to their website and find out. The reason why they should do this is because they can find out which design styles are most popular, and over time, they can kind of shuffle the deck. They can remodel select units that are underperforming and make them more like the ones that are more popular. But it's really hard to find out what's the most popular unless you split test. And the best way to split test is to create 4 or 5 design styles and go to market with all of them to see what fits. I think personally that the canopy bed is a really nice touch. It just really fills up this small room. It gives the room a nice sense of space and framing and goes well with the white and black wallpaper, which is great for them. But where I think they're lacking in the bedroom department is the quality of the mattress and the quality of the pillows. I would not go so far to say that they're terrible. The pillows are a decent quality. They don't go flat easy, but the square space of them is really, really small. I imagine a couple who are both pillow hogs would have a really hard time trying to make comfortable use of the amount of space that they're given. I also think that the mattress is slightly too small for a couple. I think it's a full-size bed. They should have gone with the queen. They probably should have found a way to cheat and go with the king. Even if you really can't move on that far wall, it's still better to have a bigger bed. Even more so now that Airbnb has a toggle for king bed, and less than half the listings anywhere that I search have one. Something interesting, and perhaps the only interesting thing about the bathroom, because it's completely plain aside from just this, is their choice of shampoo and conditioner. There's a company called Host GPO. They're what's called a group purchasing organization, and they package together through the power of thousands of hosts buying the same stuff, these discounts for hosts, where the shampoo that they have here is 30% less than I currently pay for my shampoo, and I'm already buying things in bulk.
I've got a good cost structure, but even with this, hosts are getting a better deal by 20 or 30% on some products than I myself am getting buying bulk on Amazon. So in this video, we're gonna give Host GPO a thumbs up, and hopefully in return, I can get them to give us a discount on some stuff. You'll find that in the comments or in the description if I'm successful in talking them into a discount. There are a few things that I think are lacking in this space. First, you will find that there is no water filter, there are no bottles of water. It's really unaccommodating, especially for any price point that Nashville can fetch. In addition, the cookware, even though it is present, it is pretty meager. Someone would arrive hoping to cook and find out that they're really missing some key supplies. And they wouldn't be so happy about that if they stayed long enough that cooking became a big deal. Now, this is a back-end issue that could get solved. Imagine someone books for a month or two and then says, hey, where's all the stuff? Because that booking is valuable, they could then invest in the extra things to accommodate that guest. It has to look good in the photos, hence the wallpaper and the neutral colors, and then they can catch up on the back end if they ever get the right customer. That's probably what they're doing. And I think that is why they do have the little touches that they have, such as the bar accessories with the little shaker and the bottle opener, even though they don't have rocks glasses for cocktails. They have it on the table to make the place look good, probably with the intention that no one would ever use it anyway. Again, they'll cross that bridge when they get there. And this leads us a little deeper into the intention and strategy of an apartment hotel. I booked this not on Airbnb. I booked through a different OTA, Booking.com. This property is a branded apartment hotel called Placemakr. There are properties like this all over New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Los Angeles, Dallas, and Austin. They're all over big cities. One's called Nativo or Sonder. Properties like this are trying to run at scale. Good, efficient systems. There are real housekeepers with real housekeeping carts out in the hallways every day. They have good distribution. They're on Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, TripAdvisor. They have their own website. They have their own email list. They are running this exactly like a hotel, but with a very important fail-safe. If this property could no longer do Airbnb, these technically could be hyper-efficient apartments where people could live in because they have everything that someone needs, including a kitchen, washer, dryer, shower, the works. They have the plan to make money in short-term rentals as much as they possibly can. Mix in mid-term rentals where it's good, but then also scale back to long-term rentals wherever necessary. This is truly a hybrid property. If I was going to make any changes to this property, even though the bed might be only queen size or full, I would still use king size pillows. Big, nice ones. I'd also put a king size bed in there if it would fit. This is a shower tub combo, and I do think there's a pool on site, so I would also invest in bathrooms because their bathrooms are blank, and for some people, they would care. They would want to see some plants, they'd want to see some color, they'd want to see some art. Some bathrobes would go a long way in the bathroom. I would also invest more into the kitchen. We want more cooking supplies. I would also invest more in the kitchen and show that investment in the photos. If I ever had to switch to a strategy where I was getting weekly or multi-week guests, I know for sure people would be cooking and they want to know the place is ready to cook. Every host on the planet could improve here on how they market their kitchens to their customers. It's just that the industry is new enough and people may not understand how important that this is. I would also add a water filter and a pour over coffee station so you'd have a Keurig for the fast coffee, but you'd have the kettle and the pour over for both tea and coffee when people buy their own grounds because they plan on staying a while. This property here only supplied a few K-cups worth of coffee and 2 little pods for the washing machine. They don't really plan on having long stays, and you can tell that by how they've stocked the place. There's not a lot of dishes, silverware, pots and pans, cooking supplies, etc. They're not built for midterm stays here. And also, I would buy rollaway beds. I may not buy one for every single unit and keep them in every apartment, but I would keep them somewhere in the building and advertise that I can sleep more people. If I had 300 units in a building like this, and then I bought 100 rollaway beds, I could advertise that I could sleep one extra person in a lot more than just 100 of my units because every reservation is not going to need it. For example, I stayed here today and I don't need a rollaway bed, but someone next door might. So out of 200 or 300 doors, I do think a good safe balance would be 100 extra beds. For my stay here, I did not intend to use the gym. I'm only in town to speak at a conference and then to leave. It is so short that I did not think that I would need that amenity. They probably do have that amenity, even though I haven't gone to check. Stays that are longer are more likely to use a gym, just in the same way that stays that are longer are more likely to use a washer and dryer or the kitchen. So if you do something like an apartment hotel that wants to be able to move into midterm rentals, you'll want to have a washer dryer, fully stocked kitchen, and a gym. And a pool may not be important for a longer stay, but it is important for search hacking to make sure that you can cut through search where other people don't have a pool and you'll get a higher average nightly rate. Short stays benefit from different amenities than long stays do, but for apartment hotels like the Placemakr, longer stay amenities also give them the chance of going long-term and signing regular leases if this all ever falls apart. And like I said at the beginning of the video, Airbnb's media hasn't been so good lately. And if everybody leaves Airbnb and stops booking apartments and goes back to hotels, buildings like this might go back into the long-term market. And if you are truly concerned about how competitive this industry is and you want to stay in business, watch this video next on the 6 ways that you can crush your competition in any season. So no matter what happens, if some hosts quit, it won't be you. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. You're my favorite people, and as always, I will see you on the other side.